boys and little girls. You'd find mom and dad. You'd also have grandma and grandpa living there as well. If you were real lucky, great-grandma and great-grandpa would be living there also. We didn't have the concept of retirement homes or old age homes, I guess what they call them. Why would you want to put your knowledge in a place you couldn't get to it easily? So this story is for our elders. A long time ago, there was this boy. He was maybe 8, 9 years old. He lost his father to the Great War. Shortly after, he lost his mother to a sickness. So this little boy was all by himself. So he done the best that he could to get by. So what he would do is he would go to the elders and he would help them. He would cut their wood and carry it for them. He would go and get their water and bring it to them. If there was a leak in the roof, he would climb up there and fix that leak. If they had livestock or animals, he would go and tend to the animals, make sure that these elders were okay, do jobs that they had a hard time doing themselves. And in return, his elders, they would give him nice, hot meals to eat. They would mend his clothes, make him new clothes, and give him a warm, safe place to sleep at night. And during all of this, you know, the elders, they told him stories that they were told when they were little. And they taught this young man how to hunt, how to fish. They taught him which plants to use for medicine, which plants to use for food. They taught him of respect for all things and all people. So as time went on, that little boy grew into a man. And once he became a man, he was confident that he could take care of a family. So he went to the woods and he made himself a big house. He wanted a big house because he wanted to have a very large family, because he had been alone for quite some time. So once he built this big house, he went to the next village and he found himself a beautiful wife. And they were very happy together. And one day they found out that they were going to be parents. And this filled that young man with a love and a joy that he had not known in quite some time. But sadly, when the baby came, his wife made her journey to the next world. So this young man was devastated once again. He had lost his parents at an early age. Now, he lost his best friend. He lost his wife. But he had his son. He loved his son. He spent every moment, every day with his son. He taught his son how to walk. He taught his son how to talk. He taught his son how to hunt, how to fish. He taught his son which plants to use for medicine, which plants to use for food. And he told his son all the stories that his elders told him when he was a boy. And as time went on, his son grew to a man. And his son was confident that he could take care of a family, so he decided now is the time for him to go and start a family of his own. So he asked his father for a good blessing. And his father said a good prayer the best way that he could for his son. And his son went to the next village and found himself a beautiful wife. Now traditionally, amongst our people here, when a man gets married, he is no longer of his own clan. He moves in with his wife and her family, and he helps take care of them. He takes her clan. But this was a special case, because his father had made such a big house, and he was all alone, they decided that they would live with him. That way he wouldn't be by himself. And this worked out wonderfully. One day that young couple, they had a child of their own, another little boy. Now the young man, he would go and hunt. He would make sure they had enough to eat. If there was any dangers, he would take care of them. And his wife, she took care of the things around the house. So Grandpa got to spend all of his time with his grandson. And he loved his grandson. He taught his grandson how to walk. He taught his grandson how to talk. He taught his grandson how to hunt and how to fish, which plants to use for medicine, which plants to use for food. And he was telling his grandson all those stories that his elders told him when he was a young man. But you know, as time goes on, all of us, as human beings, we will experience these things. Grandpa's hands would no longer let him hold things the way that he used to. Grandpa's legs would no longer let him run and jump the way that he used to. Certain abilities were slipping from his grasp. So the responsibility to help take care of Grandpa fell upon his daughter-in-law. And she took care of these responsibilities for a time. But one day, these burdens became too great for her. So she called her husband to the back of the house. She told him, I married you. I did not marry your father. I wish to take care of you and our son. But I no longer wish to take care of your father. You must tell him to leave. This caught that young man by surprise. He said, I can't do this to my father. This is my father's house. I can't make him leave his own house. I've spent my entire life with my father. He taught me how to take care of myself. More importantly, he taught me how to take care of you. I cannot do this. No, no. So she told her husband, okay, but if you do not, I will take our son. We will leave. You will never see us again. So this weighed heavy upon that young man's heart. He began to think about these things. I love my father, but I love my son. I have spent my entire lifetime with my father. I have a long way to go with my son. My father has taught me everything that I know. I have so much to teach my son. I love my father, but I love my son. My father will understand. So he told his wife, okay, my father must leave. But I can't bring myself to tell him. You have to tell him. Funny thing was, she couldn't tell him either. So she called her son to the back of the house. And she handed her son a blanket and told him, take this blanket, grab your grandfather by the hand, and walk as far south as you can go. Give him this blanket. You leave him there, and you come on home. The little boy was puzzled. He asked his mom, when will my grandpa be coming back? She told him, he's not coming back. Then the little boy began to cry. Why must I do this to my grandpa? I love my grandpa. How come I have to leave him there all by himself? And she told him, don't question me like this. Just do as I tell you to do. So with a heavy heart and his head to the floor, that little boy grabbed that blanket. He grabbed his grandpa by the hand and he walked as far south as he could go. And he left his grandpa there. But now as he was coming back, his mother, she was waiting for him. And she saw him coming off in the distance, and she noticed something draped across his shoulder. So when she got close to him, she saw that that thing draped across his shoulder was that blanket. So she became angry. I told you to give that blanket to your grandpa. Are you so greedy that you would keep it for yourself? Why did you disobey me? And that little boy looked at his mom and said, I did give Grandpa that blanket, but I only gave him half, because one day I will give you the other half. She understood what he was saying. She let him go get Grandpa, bring him back home. That, my friends, is the blanket story.